Welcome to the Rock Music Alliance interview sessions. I'm your host, Coleman, along with keyboardist Claudio Pesavento from Mahogany Rush and the Chris Squire Band. On our show today, she's a singer, a songwriter, sometimes a guest or a host on Access TV shows, and the daughter of the late rock star, Eddie Money. Welcome to our show, Jessie Money.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Yeah, Jessie, it looks like you have several things going on, so let's start with the latest, most current thing that you're working on.
Right now, I'm working on the legacy tour of my father with my brother, and it's going really, really well. So we have a show coming up on July 11th at the Garden Amphitheater. So that's one thing we're working on. I'm also working on releasing original music. I just released a song called Losin It. And yeah, so we're just trying to get the ball rolling here. It took us a while to like deal with the grief and to kind of figure out what we were doing with our dad's music, but there's a lot of good stuff happening, so I'm really excited.
Yeah, so you mentioned your legacy tour. What's the band going to be called?
Well, it's the Eddie Money Band. So, I mean, even though he's not here, he's still with us in spirit. And it's just me and my brother Des. So what we're doing is just we're putting some musicians together and making it a family show.
That's great. What does Des do in the band?
Des plays guitar and he sings. Des is so talented. Like all of the instruments you see here, he could play all of them. He does all the production and stuff for his own music. But yeah, Des and I, we split up the songs half and half because I was like, okay, well, I'm going to sing this song, you sing this song. So we worked well together to kind of figure out which songs we wanted to sing so that we could split it up equally.
How many years you were playing with your dad in the band together? It was a long time, right?
Yeah, I mean, I went on tour with my dad like straight out of high school, but I grew up with him on the road. And, since I was like a little girl, I would run up on stage and sing Be My Little Baby, which ultimately became like my life story. So every time I hear that song, I'm like, I always think of being a little girl on stage. But my brother Julian played drums and Des played guitar. And then I, was a sidekick on stage. But yeah, we had such a great experience as a family on tour and also having the reality show Real Money. It was just such a blessing, and I'm so grateful for those experiences.
Absolutely. Do you foresee doing the Eddie Money Band as something that you'll continue doing?
Yes. Yes, 100%. I remember when my father was sick with cancer, and there was something that stuck with me that will always stay with me forever, is he told me that I'm leaving you with my legacy. And for me, that was very hard to kind of like understand. I spent a lot of time in like grief counseling and trying to figure out exactly what that meant. But for me, I feel that my purpose in life is to continue his legacy through his music while introducing like some of my own styles of my own music. So I'm trying to like not put too much pressure on myself because when I'm on stage and like singing his songs, that's when I feel so, so close to him because my whole life I was touring with him. And I'm just trying to reconnect with those memories and reconnect with him. Even though he's always with me, this is something that will be with me forever.
It's
Music
it's a,
have healing powers too.
I'm sorry?
Music have healing.
Yes,
Music have healing powers.
yes, it
So
does. And whenever
it's good. It's good that you're doing that.
whenever I hear songs on like the radio or something, and sometimes it'll be like a hard day, and it's just almost him telling me that he's with me. So, I mean, I have such a blessing and that advantage to where my dad could kind of speak to me through the radio. And I don't think I hope people don't think I'm crazy, but I just really feel like there are signs. And even, with his song being on the radio, I feel like he's telling me that he loves me and that he's still with me.
yeah, that's
Yes.
terrific. That's the power of music to communicate emotions and even altered states of consciousness, which is kind of what you're getting into there, is really amazing. And it's an amazing gift that he left you with, a successful catalog of songs that you can always put together and go out and tour.
There's such dedicated fans, and they've really stuck with us and really been so supportive throughout the years since his passing. So, and they've encouraged us to do this show, and we want to make sure that it's great and that it's right. But for some of his songs, I wanted to just add like a little flair of my own style so that I could showcase myself. Because I remember listening to Walk on Water and I was like, I have to do it exactly like that. But then I would think, well, I kind of want to do this here. But in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, would he be yelling at me right now? He's like, all he doesn't want me to do is don't go flat. And so, okay, I'll just keep practicing and practicing. And a lot of the times I'm just like singing in my car the song over and over again. But I'm trying to find myself through his music so that I'm not like discrediting who I am as a singer.
Right. Well, it sounds like really the path forward, like I say, is you've got the legacy of the catalog and the Eddie Money band to continue with, and then you just keep creating from there. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think
You'd be, su- you'd
anyone's
be
going to want to
surprised.
hear your music added to the catalog.
You'd be
Yeah.
surprised how many people use Melodyne live. Like even when I play with Chris Squire, he asked the singer to put Melodyne on his vocal to autocorrect because
I mean, that's not something I do, but I
No, I'm
mean,
not just telling you.
yeah, I have to make sure that I get it right. I'm very hard on myself. My dad, he taught me, and my mom as well, they taught me how to be like an entertainer and how to do things right. And so for me, it's just like a lot of practice. And a reason also that why I sing in the car a lot is I remember growing up with my father, we would sit in the car and listen to almost like the same song over and over again. And he would describe to me the feeling that the singer was singing in the song. So it wasn't necessarily like the vocal fry or the trail of it was the emotion in the lyric. So that's something that I learned that sticks with me as a musician and as well as a performer is that I'm not just going to go out there and sing. I'm going to like be the song.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what people really. I think they mean it. You hear the phrase now and again. You have to own it. Own it.
You do.
Yeah, and that's what it is. Yeah. So in addition to the Eddie Money legacy songs, have you been performing out yourself as a solo artist?
Yes, we've decided to put like 100% effort into the Legacy Tour for me because it's a way to kind of showcase my music and my brother's music within the same show. And, why not just be able to sing his songs, have some fun, and then, place our new songs in there as well. My material that I'm releasing now, it's a very personal project. It's I was working on a record when my dad got sick. And after he passed away, I was like supposed to be finishing up that record and I couldn't write about anything else besides, what I was going through, how I was gonna live my life, and like so I spent a lot of years just really lost. And what I was writing about was the grief and the pain that I was dealing with. And through that writing process, I was able to find my way and like to heal and to find some songs that were like, okay, well, this is what's happening. I'm feeling this pain now. But then the next track would be like, okay, well, what am I doing? And the next track would be like, okay, now I understand what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. I'm not just living in grief. I'm living with pride that I had this amazing father that I can do like be myself, but also find love within myself. And he's always going to be here with me. So like this process of me writing this music is very, very personal. And I don't expect like a lot of people to connect with it. This is just this chapter of my life that I wrote about. And the next chapter will probably be about like breakups or like relationships or something like that. But this was my core, everything that was happening with me.
Gotcha. Well, never underestimate the connection possibility. I mean, I'm sure, absolutely sure, there will be people out there that read your lyrics and they will connect.
I hope so.
Yeah. I know so. I know they will. I noticed, of course, that you do have some current releases out there under your own name, Jesse Money. So why don't we take a sample listen right now to your newest release, which is the song "Losin It." And Jesse, why don't you set it up for our listeners? Tell us about the song, briefly if you can, and the meaning behind it.
Losin It is about the feeling that I had after I lost my father when I was driving in a car and I wasn't able to see him next to me. And just I was in the pit of an addiction at the time, and I really didn't know how to process those emotions. So Losin It is just a feeling of loss. It's a feeling of pain, and letting yourself be okay with like how you're not able to figure out what you're feeling. You're just losing it.
Got it. Well, here we go. From Jesse Money, here's about a minute and a half of her song "Losin It" on the Rock Music Alliance.
'Cause my problems, they don't could drive with you. I wanna just drive with you. And I think I'm losing it. It's all too much and it's stressing my mind, baby. My mind, baby.
That was the single Losing It from Jesse Money on the Rock Music Alliance. So tell us, who are the players on that release, Jesse?
The players that are on that record is Jorge Palacios. He's a drummer for Rick Springfield. And I have my really good friends, Grant and Nick. And it's funny because my dad always had keys in his songs, but I didn't use any keys for my songs. So it's going to be interesting playing this on stage and incorporating the keyboards. So that's also a new thing I'm excited
I'm
about.
available.
Oh, you are?
Claudio's
We actually,
quite good. He's quite good.
no, I don't, I could tell by the keys in the background. You must be a keyboard player.
Yeah, so
You have a keyboard player now for the tour?
Yes, I have a keyboard player right now. Her name is Allison. I don't know her last name, but we've just
Alison,
connected.
sounds familiar.
And she plays for Cyndi Lauper, and we've
Oh,
also,
okay, yeah.
you know how it goes with the road when other musicians have shows with other bands, you got to find the other one, and so we're playing around with like different people, and it's going really really well. The people that are in the band now are really excited about the vision. They really love my dad's music, and it's been a great experience being able to share it with these people.
And
Yeah,
you
so
sounded great at the Ultimate Jam night when you play the songs, remember?
Oh
I
yeah,
met, I
thank you
met you
so
there.
much.
No,
Yeah.
I have
My,
some video of that actually.
oh,
Yeah.
you do?
I
Yeah.
sent it to you to your phone. I don't know if you ever got it, but yeah, I
Oh
did.
yeah. Yeah, no,
Mhm.
definitely. I mean, we love Ultimate Jam Night. It's such a great reason to get out and go to the whiskey and have some fun. But we're really looking forward to like doing these shows and make sure, playing more than one, two songs.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But it's always fun to connect with musicians at the whiskey.
Yeah, yeah.
oh yeah, yeah, and in Los Angeles, that's pretty much the main networking connection that I've found.
Yeah.
There's some other little jams here and there, like in Hermosa Beach or down in Long Beach. There's one going on, but the ultimate jam at the whiskey is definitely the one.
Yeah. I think they only do it like once a month now, don't they?
I think they try for every other week, but it's kind of, they do the
It's
best
once
they
a
can.
month now. It's
Is it?
once a
Yeah.
Yeah.
month.
How about that, huh? And you can always find out if anybody listening, go to social media and you can find the Ultimate Jam page, and they always do their announcement there when it's happening. Yeah. So it sounds like the band that plays with you is also the band that's going to be in the Legacy band.
Yes, I mean, we might be switching up players here and there because they obviously are musicians that have other jobs with other bands. But Lance Turner is an amazing guitar player. So he plays at the Whiskey a lot in
Yeah, I
the
seen
Fast
him.
Time. And
Yeah.
he's amazing. He's such a trooper, and he plays all the notes like note for note. And that was one of those struggles that we were having. And because I thought, okay, well, Jimmy Lyons, amazing guitar player, but I want everything to sound like the record. So it's interesting to be able to go through that experience without my dad here, and like with him in the back of my head, going like, it's got to sound like the record. It's got to sound like the record. And I'm kind of a people pleaser. So for me, it's like, okay, it's okay. But I've learned to kind of like build the courage to just be like, all right, that's not right. This needs to be changed. Because it's not just like, it's not my music, it's his music. And it has to be honored 100% in the way that my dad would want me to do it. So it's given me a lot of strength in this process. And I'm so excited to share it with everybody.
Great.
Now, for your own band, your own music, possibly as well as the Legacy band, are you working with a producer to help you accomplish that? Or is it all just you, just
I'm
self-produced?
working with his name is Mark DeSisto. We've been friends for a very, very long time. He originally was helping me when I first started out with the song that I'll be releasing in a couple months. But he is so great. He's so patient. And whenever I get in the studio with him, we have just that relationship where I could just be myself. Or if some days it'd be like, okay, you need to like take a break. Because for me, I just like have to get it. I'm so hard on myself that I'll just be in the studio just like ripping my vocals apart. But it's important for me. But to have that relationship where I feel safe, I was able to connect with really, really raw emotions and like ultimately like crying after a lot of the sessions and just really getting it out. So Doing this project, this EP has been such a healing process for me, and I really hope that people are able to listen to it and connect with their emotions as well. Be like, "Oh, I feel like that," or "This is how I felt, and I understand." So in a way, I was just hoping that I would be able to reach people dealing with these issues and being able to like understand them and some find a way to heal as well, like as I did.
I'm
You
sure they
will.
will. I'm sure they will. Yeah. I would say, somehow, of course, make the lyrics available, so people can read it,
Yeah. Well, I did that with TuneCore. I put all the lyrics up and everything. So I'll
Yeah.
just keep working at it, keep working at it.
Excellent. Well, guys, let's pause here, for a moment to get a word from our sponsor. And when we come back, we're going to ask Jessie a little about her early days and growing up with a famous rock star father on the Rock Music Alliance. We'll be right back. Attention guitar players, the Thimble Slide allows you to slide and fret, freeing your slide finger. The Thimble Slide is a mini guitar slide designed to be worn on the tip of your finger, about halfway down your fingernail. When worn there, you can still bend your finger, and most importantly, it's allowing enough of your fingertip through so you can still press the guitar strings. With its patented shape, you can slide and fret while wearing the Thimble Slide. Visit thimbleslide.com. That's thimbleslide.com.
Hey everyone, I'm Katie Darrell from the Top 10 Revealed, and you're listening to Rock Music Alliance. Arr!
We're back with Jessie Money on the Rock Music Alliance. Jessie, where were you born and raised?
I was born in Burbank, but I was raised out here in Malibu. Yeah, but I grew up on the tour bus as a child, just like bunk beds, falling out of bunk beds. If my tooth fell out, I'd put it under the bunk bed, and I grew up on the road. I'm definitely like a road dog kind of person, so I love the schlep of like having to carry all my crap, like running late. So I grew up on a tour bus, and just basically, my mom has pictures of me like asleep on some sound gear on the side of the stage. It's just like as a baby. So,
So
I mean,
much fun.
so much fun, but I'm used to like the hecticness of life and like everything being loud, and it's just like high stress situations. So when I meet a lot of people, like, wow, you have a lot of energy. And it's just like, no, it's just kind of like how I was raised.
Yeah,
Especially
no,
with
it's great.
personality.
Not only is music in your DNA, but you were completely raised in the environment. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Sounds like a Phil Collins song. Simon Collins. He
Yeah.
was he was on tour with his dad all the time. He was a little kid, and he learned how to play drums on tour. Actually,
Yeah, my brothers did the same thing. And for me, it was just like walking up on stage and with my little like shoes on as a baby, and then like slowly learning and learning more and more about singing and performing. But when I was a little girl, my mom had to like hold me by the bottom of my little dress because I just wanted to run up stage, and I would just want to run to my dad. And when I got up on stage, I would just sit there and like stand there and just stare at him. So it's funny how like not funny, but it's kind of beautiful how life works, where even though he's not here, I can still look up and see him, in heaven.
Yeah.
he's
So,
watching over you.
Yeah.
at what age did you realize that your father was a celebrity?
Um, that's kind of a I can't really pinpoint because I just knew that he was different. I mean, everybody has their own story, but I just knew that my dad was special to a lot of people, and it wasn't just me. So there wasn't like an age where it clicked in, but I do remember like the older that I got, like when it came to like middle school and high school, when I knew that like there were things that I could get away with by saying I was his daughter. So that's when I started like playing like the title of the rock star daughter, and that's a way that I would make friends, or maybe I would make a guy like me, or like because I get his parents tickets to the show or something, or I'd get pulled over and I'd be like, I'm anybody's daughter, like
Yeah,
crazy work.
That's got to be my favorite thing. It's like you have that pullover moment. What do you call it? The do you know who I am moment?
And I was like, my dad's any money. Like, please let me go. He's gonna kill me. Stuff like that. So I think
Yes.
the older that I got, the more that I use it to like kind of get out of things. And I was like,
If you go to Mexico, they will ask you for money
oh,
to get away with it. Okay,
yeah,
give me some pesos, I'll let you go.
yeah, that's it. Well, I'll keep that in mind next time I go to Mexico.
So Jesse, so since you grew up with it all, I understand that like there's no given moment that you realize it because you're being brought up in it. You know,
Yeah.
how about singing? Same thing. Did you grow up just singing all the time, or was there a moment when you wanted to get into music and that's what you wanted to do, or do you play any other instruments too?
I mean, I play keys. I just play keys to kind of like find where I am at in my songwriting. I'd like to get a lot better with that. I like working with synths and arpeggios because it kind of does it for you. You can just stand there and just, okay, I'm hitting those notes. But I've sang my whole life, my dad would always, and my mom, I don't want to discredit my mom here. My mom, she would be the one to kind of like curl my hair and teach me the dance moves and how to dance on stage. And so ever since I was a little girl, I was always singing. But it became apparent to me how serious it was when I remember this one time I sang the national anthem at my school, and I was so nervous. And my dad was like, you were flat. And I was like, and my mom would be like, you're too hard on her. But those moments, like, he really just wanted me to be as great as I could be. And it wasn't like in the moment, I was like, oh man, come on, dad. But now I'm like, okay, well, he was just telling me like what was up and like how I needed to get better and be better because I wasn't just going to go up on stage as like Eddie Money's daughter. I had to be a great singer in my own right. So
Uh,
singing for me just like came like through the process of learning from him, learning from my mom, like just learning my own voice, like singing Etta James and Ruby Johnson. Those were the things, the like the vocals, like the female vocalist that I looked up to that my dad showed me. And so I would constantly in my room all night just try to hit those notes.
Guess what? When they did the We Are the World, the video,
Yeah.
they had some takes about, how do they make it and all that. So it's a moment that I don't know if it was David Foster or somebody else told Neil Young, "You're flat," and then Neil Young say, "Yes, that's my style."
Neil Young. I love Neil Young. Absolutely amazing.
If you have a
Yeah.
chance, watch that documentary.
I'll
It's
have to check
just
it out.
funny, too funny.
I'll have to
Yeah.
check it out.
Yeah, it's a good point. Definitely a good point. Plus, a lot of the crooner singers, from the ages, the golden age, I noticed too. They did a lot of scooping back then too. Really, just sliding up into the notes. A lot of that, which isn't really done anymore. It's just a lot of
Yeah.
nailing it. So
Yeah.
like sometimes I hear those early songs, I'm kind of like, wow, boy, that like a full step, just scooping a full step. It's just
Yeah.
slide into that note.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They have feeling. They
Change
have
it.
the feeling.
And
yeah. You can
yes,
you can
they
say that.
had the
Yeah.
feeling. They definitely had, and like these days, I mean, I go on TikTok and I watch like these amazing young singers that do like so many vocal. My dad called them vocal acrobatics
Yeah.
because they just go all over the place. But I think that that's amazing that they can do that. But everybody has their own style in singing. But for me, I have to 100% be in the song in order to kind of find out what I want to do vocally.
Or
You
like Madonna. Madonna wasn't a great singer, but just, they use techniques to make it sound good. But basically, they record like a version. She recorded in slower speed, so they speed it up on the final mix, so her voice sounds like a young girl.
high pitched,
You
yeah.
know? Yeah. So yeah, it's a lot of tricks, they can use. But she got the power to be there and, become what she
Yeah.
became. But, just, yeah, that's
Well,
it.
in a world right now that's full of singers with acrobatics and pyrotechnics, you can't go wrong with melody. So if you be true to the melodies, you sing the melodies and the songs, you can't go wrong with that.
Not go far off from the melody
Yeah,
ever.
yeah,
Stay in the song, do the same thing.
yeah. Well, you're one of five siblings.
Yeah.
Is the whole family musical?
My older brother, he's involved in kinesiology and he lives in Vegas. So he does a lot with like nutrition and working out. Des, obviously is a musician, and he has new music coming out too. So just look out for Des Money. He's got some great music coming out. Julian, he has taken a break from drums and he's working on some electronic music. And my brother Joe also works on electronic music. So, we all kind of had like our little corner of like what we like to do. And Dez's music is different from mine. So it's like I have a lot of like umph and a little bit of aggressiveness to mine, and he's just really just a calmer human being.
He's cool. He's very good,
Oh,
actually.
he's so good. And he does
Yeah.
all of the production on his own. He plays all the instruments. He could play drums, he could play keys, he could play bass, he could play guitar. He's like a one-man band. And so it's been I'm so proud of my brother and like how far he's come and how much he's even taught me with his music. So yeah.
Great. Well,
Cool.
we're coming up to the end of the show pretty soon. Just a few more questions. Claudio, did you have anything in particular you wanted to ask Jesse about?
Well, if she wants to promote any of her, you know, live shows after the show in Anaheim, do you have any more plan to? Or?
Yeah, we're working on going to Austin City Limits. So it's
Oh,
in
nice.
it's in the works. So I mean, we're really excited to be getting out there. And my goal is for next year, because every Memorial Day weekend, my dad would open up Pine Knob in Detroit. And so my personal goal is to get back to Pine Knob for Memorial Day weekend. So hopefully, like, I'm just putting it in the universe. Hopefully a year from now we
It
can
will
all,
happen.
yeah, that's been my number one goal, is to just hit that venue because it was our favorite show to do every year. But yeah, we're trucking along. We're doing the best we can and just putting some new music out and doing this show. So we're slowly getting our traction here, but we're having such a good time.
As you were growing up, like through the teen years and early 20s, did you ever get into the cover band scene itself?
No, I never got into the cover band scene. To be honest with you, I was kind of a wild child during those years. Um, and just touring with my father and uh, probably pissing him off a lot. Late to airports, late to the lobby call. Yeah, when I was in my 20s, I was touring with my father and just having a really good time, taking advantage of the whole situation. But no, I
Nice.
got into the cover band thing. So I feel like now that I've matured and grown older and I'm sober now, so it's really important to me to kind of just take it one day at a time, do the best I can, and just
Be
really
yourself.
be respectful of my life and be grateful for what was given to me.
Well, since you were touring already with your pop, that's already a like a whole echelon above really the tour or the cover band scene. So you were already kind of doing a great thing right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't
but
need the cover band thing.
yeah, exactly,
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
But he would always be like, okay, what song do you want to sing? There were songs that I would cover though. It was started out with Midnight Rider by the Allman Brothers. And there was one time where I was like, Dad, let me cover one of your songs. And I think it was Driving Me Crazy was the song that I covered. And I had changed a fill at the end. And it was just kind of like a thing. I'm like, Dad, look what I did. Like I took your song and I changed the end of it here. And he's like, my version's better. I'm like, my version's better, like so, but
Yeah.
I mean, it was always finding a way to like cover something, but trying to find a way to like make it my own.
Yeah,
But
that,
we
that
always had that
Yeah,
together.
that's one thing the cover band scene is really good for musicians is that I mean it allows you to stretch out into many different styles,
Yeah.
and not everybody can do it. It's not every guitar player can play a funky style of guitar and then turn around and play metal or play
Yeah.
classic style of rock. It gives you a chance to kind of be exposed to performing in different styles, so you kind of maybe
Yeah.
incorporate that into yourself, but also discover where your own voice is.
Yeah, it's a way to be creative and like kind of like
Hmm.
test your ability to be
Yeah,
creative. Like I
yeah,
love singing jazz and I loved, singing
yeah.
rock. And it's just really interesting. So when you do songwriting, you're like, okay, well, this sounds like this. Do I want to incorporate that tone into this? And so it's really great to have that kind of catalog to go off of.
Yeah, some people sort of do that with their own music later on. Like I've got a flash thinking of Rod Stewart, like like Rod Stewart had his rock career, but then he did a
Yeah.
whole album of music in a jazz standards, kind
Yeah.
of style. Or some people do a duet style, they have their own music, but they'll do like the acoustic album.
Yeah. Well, it's
Yeah.
funny that you mentioned that because in my next upcoming single that I'm releasing is called Masochist, and it's about kind of like putting myself through all this, just like going through a lot and just like not caring about like, just basically being a masochist. But I asked Jimmy Lyons to play on the song, and I originally was like, "Do you think you could play like that shaken riff?" Because I started thinking of how can I make music that I can incorporate into our legacy show. And this was like a couple of years when we started working on this idea. And he's like, that putting that shaken riff in there is like putting a square peg in a round hole. And I was like, okay, well, you just do what you do. You're Jimmy Lyons. And so I've tried to like incorporate little pieces that I could, kind of pay homage to my dad's sound as well. So Masochist will be released next month, and I'm really excited for everybody to hear it.
Cool.
Yeah, well, once again, it sounds just terrific that you got the legacy catalog of Eddie Money, to carry on and perform with, and then adding your own music and possibly Des as well. That just sounds like a great thing to me. Like you've got a really solid foundation to launch from. Sounds great.
Oh, thank you so much. And I
Yeah.
really appreciate you guys having me on this show. It's been such a pleasure to be hanging out with you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I will try to make it to your show in Anaheim if you have in that area.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's
That'd be
the
great.
show is July 11th. It's at the Garden Amphitheater in Garden Grove, California. And it's going to be a great show. We have some great openers, and yeah, it's going to be so much fun. And we're working really hard and practicing all the time. So I'm looking forward to it.
So beyond that, here's my last question then. Beyond the coming show, what would be the next step for the career? Like what's next?
The next step is just to keep working on music and just to, we work really closely together as a family to figure out what the next steps are for Dez's solo career and my solo career. So the next steps are just to keep doing the legacy show, keep releasing our own material, keep pushing each other to just, because I mean, to do the legacy tour and to do all of this stuff, it's kind of like we don't want to get lost in our father's music, and we still want to do our solo careers. So we're constantly pushing each other, making videos and documenting exactly what's going on. So we're doing some stuff for YouTube and putting out some performances and just kind of setting it all up for everybody to see.
Great. Well, Jesse, that brings us to the end of our show. What websites should people go to keep in touch and find out more?
Check us out on Instagram. I'm under Who's Jesse Money, and Des is under Des Money. And I'm also on Facebook as Jesse Money, and TikTok under Jesse Money Music. And Des is under Des Money Music. You can also check us out on YouTube under Jesse Money Music. We're excited to show everybody what we've been doing, and we look forward to hearing from everybody.
Great. Jesse, thanks for being our guest today on the Rock Music Alliance.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
I'm Cole Coleman, and for Claudio Pesavento, the Rock Music Alliance, and the RMA Awards, thanks for watching and listening. Visit us at rockmusicalliance.com and check out this year's RMA Awards for rock, metal, and progressive rock music.